So we almost can guarantee at this point that the cost of living crisis is going to be probably the number one political issue for at least some time to come. And judging by today's very, very nice Easter weather, the issue of, shall we say, heating people's houses for the Tories, they might have gotten lucky, at least for now. Of course, as the months drag on, and of course the season eventually turns to autumn and things start to get colder, well, needless to say, it's going to become even more of an issue then. And of course, the question should be asked, what is the Chancellor going to do? Because this is the Chancellor's job. And I say this with all, possibilities, knowing Rishi Sunak might not be long for this job. He might not be long for this job at all. There is already a very, very popular change.org petition saying that people who commit a crime should not be allowed, especially for the PM or Chancellor, they shouldn't be allowed to have those jobs. It's already past, I think, the point of the Prime Minister has to respond, and it's almost at the level, I think last time I checked, it's almost at the level of where it's comes up for a debate in Parliament about it. So needless to say, that could be quite an interesting debate. But of course, we're now going to dive into this very simple question, because you look at the rest of Europe, and the rest of Europe is doing so much to help the worst off in society, to help, secure them and cushion them for the rise not only in energy prices, but even the cost of living. Like I say, there is a cost of living increase in Europe as well, but it's nowhere near, shall we say, the effects of what we're having, certainly in the UK. To Europe, it's more of the energy crisis, and we've got an energy crisis and a cost of living crisis to deal with as well, mixed in with everything else. So it really, really is creating a perfect storm, to which we've already seen the current Chancellor, Rishi Sunak's response is just to shrug his shoulders. So, as always, before we go jumping into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and of course the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a more donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do support the channel that way. So, over we go to over to the Guardian, where we have the title of "If the rest of Europe can protect the poorest from rising bills, why can't Britain?" Why can't Britain, indeed? The Governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, has warned that Britons are facing a historic shock to real incomes, with the energy prices rise this year larger than any single year since the 1970s. And the disastrous impact this crisis will have on people's livelihoods is clear. 600,000 could fall into poverty, with millions unable to afford the essentials. But so far, the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, has only introduced very half-hearted measures. And as we've said at this moment, it's an absolute disaster. That he's just done nothing. And he will probably continue to do nothing, because this is the Tory ideology. Everything you see here of people being in poverty, well, they have to work harder. Can't pay your energy bills, work harder. That's the Tory ideology. To them, everything is working as it should. Hence why they will continue to do nothing. As we face a very hypocritical challenge to the living standards and energy supply, there are already policies elsewhere already in place that Sunak could even learn from. Countries such as Germany and Ireland are doing more to protect the most vulnerable, doing more to switch to energy-saving measures, and also doing more to wean themselves off fossil fuels. This year, the German government has provided a €200 boost for people on benefits, as well as a €100 topping up of the child support system, and at least a €270 euro amount for people on housing assistance. next to a €300 leap in the sum payment pre-tax to all employees. And a low-income family with 2 children could receive at least €657 plus a possible heating subsidy of over €490. With other measures, this could fill more than 2/3 of the cash shortfall caused by an increase in energy prices. By comparison, the average low-earning UK family would receive less than half that amount, of about £270, or about €325, plus the bill support that will have to be paid back. Elsewhere, of course, there's France and Italy. They've moved to a much more decisively, even than the UK, to limit the energy prices increase in facing households. This has also been done through the measures requiring the state energy company to sell electricity well below market prices and cut taxes on electricity. Equally, of course, eye-catching are examples of the innovative policies to encourage lower energy use. As petrol prices surge, public transport is one of the most effective ways of keeping costs to the economy down. For 3 months, Germany is offering all citizens use of the regional transport for only €9 a month. Some US cities have also shown that reduced or even free public transport fares can increase use. And New Zealand is halving all public transport fares for 3 months in response to the high fuel prices. And France has just been experimenting with free public transport. And since 2018, Paris has just slashed its ticket prices. And we've talked about this before, how important public transport really is to the economy. And again, it's shocking that we see all this stuff going on in Europe that we know works, that we can see the benefits of it working, that if we did the same here, and yet the current government just doesn't want to do anything about it. Of course, this comes on top of the European companies' support schemes for most homes and insulation. Ireland, for example, has just passed a great policy that provides up to 50% of the costs for a deep retrofit. In contrast, the UK has nowhere near the same ambition. And all these international examples contrast with Sunak's spring statement, in which he announced that almost no targeted support for low earners, analysis by the Institute for Public Policy think tank, where again the author works, shows that low-income households still face an average cash shortfall of over £320 this year, with some facing up to a £700 hit. This would leave many of the UK's poorest in poverty with no option but to miss out on essentials such as food, home heating, and as millions of households are having to cut back on spending, this will also drag down economic growth. Staggeringly, of course, what the Chancellor did announce was a heavily skewed towards high earners. We estimate that on average, high-income households will receive at least 4 times the support of lower-income households. This is where Sunak's policy choices are, but it is not too late to change track. His first priority should be as to establish a lifehold guarantee for low earners. This means ensuring that their living standards do not fall below what they were last year. The government could have this achieved by increasing benefits in line with inflation to ensure that people's income stays in line with the price of the products and services that they need. This could be combined with an increase in child benefits and additional measures to alleviate pressure from household bills. With this, the Chancellor would virtually fully maintain the living standards for low to medium income earners at a cost of £9 billion, or just £1.5 billion more than what he spent on his poorly targeted policy package. He could also learn from other countries' energy-saving measures. The IPPR has also proposed a large-scale investment in home insulation, associated by an easy energy use-to-go green system. This would provide a one-stop shop for people to transition to cleaner transport, housing, and consumption, with the initial focus on energy-poor homes, which does require support the most. All this is eminently feasible and affordable. For instance, the proposed package to almost fully protect low and middle income earners would largely be paid for a windfall tax on energy companies, the type of tax that the EU is set to endorse soon. So, don't let the government convince you that its hands are tied, because this is a crisis with global dimensions. In fact, It is precisely by looking overseas that we can see that better policy choices are possible. And that is really the situation we have here. Because I've always said, whenever it comes to politics, ignore personalities, even though they are somewhat important. It does come down to policy choice. And the Conservatives, time and time and time again, since they've even come in, going all the way back to the days of the coalition government with Cameron and Clegg, they chose the austerity path. They chose to make austerity their choice. And when they got full power and they came out of the coalition and it was all them, they went even harder on austerity. And they have done that ever since. Remember, Grenfell was meant to be the end of austerity. Everyone cried out, this is the end of austerity. Austerity hasn't ended. It's gotten even worse. And as I keep on telling you, beware for austerity on steroids. This choice by the Chancellor has been his and his choice alone, because this is the ideology that the Tories are married to. And because they cannot continue with that for much longer, because people will start to hate. Look, I mean, just some of the policies that we listed going on in Germany, France, Italy, there is nothing stopping us from bringing over those policies. Even one that was mentioned just there. There is nothing stopping us from bringing better policy in. But of course, it's Rishi Sunak. He's the biggest ideologue of them all. He's not going to give the people the better policies that we so desperately need that could help people in their time of need. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and one donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.